Welcome back. This is part 2 of our 3-part robot duplicate series. We're going to jump straight back in with board number 5. On board number 5, we've been dealt 15 points. Our partner passes and they open a club on our right. We have 5-card diamond suits, so we have two clear choices. We can either overcall a diamond or we can overcall one no trump. Last week I wrote an article about bidding when your partner's a passed hand, and one of my key points was that once partner has passed, there's not as much upside to overcalling a no trump, and there's still a lot of risk involved. So check out that article and you'll understand why I choose to overcall one diamond with this hand in this particular spot. I would definitely overcall this hand one no trump if my partner was not passed. It's probably pretty close anyway. Okay, so our partner has responded one no trump, which it says here says that they have 2 or fewer diamonds and 9 to 11 points, a max passed hand. So my 15 points goes pretty well with opposite 9 to 11. Typically I would blast into game with 15 points opposite 9 to 11, 24 to 26 points. When we, especially in this particular auction where we know where the balance of the points is, East is going to hold almost all the points, so it's going to be a very easy hand to play. So the only thing that holds me back here is my King 10/5 of diamonds doesn't play very well opposite a doubleton. If my partner had 3 diamonds, then I have an absolutely fantastic hand. My Ace Jack of clubs are worth their weight in gold, and my diamonds would be very, very good for playing through East. But with only having a doubleton, my hand really, the trick-taking value of my hand really goes down a lot. Unless partner has 2 honors and diamonds for their doubleton, I'm going to need the suit to break 3-3, most likely to have a chance at game. So I'm thinking I'm going to take the low road, and we'll check out what 2 no trump means to our partner over here. Okay, so it shows 15 points, so that's exactly what we'll bid. And we ended there. Alright, so they've led a club, and partner has 9, which is on the bottom end of their range, but they have Queen Jack doubleton of diamonds. So if we count our tricks, we have 2 spades, almost for sure 4 diamonds is 6, and the Ace King and probably the Jack of clubs would make 9. We really want to be in this 3 no trump. The Queen of clubs is almost for sure on side. Diamonds are going to break most of the time. Now, as I said before, I took the low road on this hand, but really North has their Queen Jack doubleton of diamonds is really way above expectation. Even though their range is 9 to 11, they shouldn't just count their points and bid according to where they are in the range. No game is a question of the difference between 24 and 26 points. It's almost always where are your points. And in this particular situation, they can know that I would go downgrade my hand because I'm not holding either the Queen or the Jack of diamonds. Those are huge cards, and for that reason I think with the North hand that they're supposed to accept my invitation. So Gibb's going to play the Jack of clubs, and once that wins we'll just have 9 sure tricks. We might see him fiddle around in hearts because he can afford to. Once the opponents get in, he can play diamonds later, and even if the opponents duck 2 rounds of diamonds, he'll still be able to re-enter dummy with one of the black aces, knock out the ace of diamonds, and then re-enter with the other ace and enjoy the diamonds. So he will never have trouble. Sometimes if he didn't have 2 entries, he would have to get right to diamonds. Alright, so the play, as usual, goes quite quickly for Gibb, and he made his 9 tricks. So board number 6, we're dealt a 7, 4, 1, 1, 14-point hand. Queen of diamonds is kind of useless. But our hearts are almost solid. We're just 7 solid missing the Jack, and we're a little too strong to open up with 4 hearts. Partner's going to expect a weak hand for 4 hearts. And typically when you're a little strong for opening 4 hearts, how you might bid the hand would be to open 1 heart and then rebid 4 hearts. That would say to your partner, I was planning on opening 4 hearts, but I'm a little too strong. So we're going to start with 1 heart and see how the auction develops. So our partner responded a spade and they overcalled 2 diamonds. Now again, my intention all along was to bid 4 hearts. Just to clarify why I wouldn't bid 3 hearts is because it's really going to be impossible for North to make a decision based on my 3 heart bid. All I really need from them to make game is maybe the Queen Jack of clubs. That's 3 points. And there's nothing to tell them that clubs are where I want their points. So instead of putting them to an impossible decision, I'll just take away the trouble and bid game, and hopefully we catch the right hand. Alright, so they've led the Jack of diamonds, and Gib had pretty much an 8-point hand that was going to be right on the border of whether to bid. Whenever North holds no hearts, they're going to take the low road as best they can, as much as possible. They're going to try to bid less aggressively. So it's possible Gib might have passed me in 3 hearts if I had just bid it. And this is a really great game. When we look at our losers, we have a sure spade, a sure diamond. Then all we need to do is either have no losers in hearts or no losers in clubs, and we will make our game. And it's really likely one of those two things will happen. We have quite a bit of information. East is a passed hand, so we already see that they have the ace of diamonds. It's looking very likely that they don't have a 6-card suit because they didn't open up with a weak 2 diamonds. We'll find out more information in a moment. Okay, well that's a very, very interesting card. The ace of spades sitting over the king is really very descriptive. When I see my opponents do something like that in a panic, it looks like he's afraid that the spade trick is going to go away on clubs, which actually, looking at our hand, is very possible. If they didn't cash the ace of spades and the trump jack comes down, then all I would need to do is solve clubs and my spade would go away. So, but I can take a lot of information by him being afraid of clubs coming home for me. Typically, he's probably only going to have, it narrows down his club holding to a doubleton queen maybe, and a singleton. He probably doesn't have a void, and he probably doesn't have queen third. With queen third, this would be a horrible play because it's very likely that I'll be able to use the king to discard my a club away. So with that in mind, we'll keep playing. Our instinct now is that they probably don't have the queen of clubs, so if we're forced to guess, we'll probably finesse. Alright, and now a low diamond comes back. Okay, and now that king of diamonds confirms my suspicion that East does not have 6 diamonds. When they lead the jack, it's probably jack 10, and now when I see the king, it looks like West has king jack 10. So, now it looks like I said, I want to finesse clubs, but one of my clubs is going to go away on the king of spades. And it turns out if I play out all of my hearts, then I'll have 4 cards left, and West, who I'm pretty sure has the 10 of diamonds, will have to come down to the 10 of diamonds and the queen third of clubs. Now, when I play a club to the ace and play the king of spades throwing away my club, West will have to decide whether to discard their club or their high diamond, setting up my diamond. So it's a little safer for me to play it that way than it is for me to just go with my instinct and finesse the clubs. So I'm going to run my trumps, and hopefully they'll break, and hopefully it'll just be for an over trick. So far so good, and we'll see. Okay, so the trumps were 3-3, so we're going to make our contract. We're just playing for 5. So now I'm going to continue doing what I said I would do. I'm going to run my trumps and try to squeeze. Alright, so West pitched a club right away. So I'm pretty comfortable here that I'm going to take the rest of the tricks. I don't think that West started with 4 clubs. And so I don't really have to worry about how I discard the squeeze end position we pictured has already happened. So we will play a club to the ace. Alright, so the clubs are good. I don't even need to bother with my king of spades. Alright, so we made 5. I'm pretty sure that was a very good result. Okay, and now we are dealt a 14-point hand with 5 hearts. Whenever I have a 5-card major and 14 points, I consider opening one no trump. In this case, I feel like this is a very, very nice 14 points. I'm expecting a little bit more out of my ace, king, jack, 5th of hearts than I would out of a typical 8 points. Having all my points in my long suit not only makes those points worth more, it also increases the value of my little cards in that suit. So having 8 points, ace, king, jack, that's 2.5 tricks right on off the bat. Plus the 6-2 are worth much more. So I really feel like this hand values up to a clear-cut 15 to 17 no trump. And another nice feature about my hand that I tend to look at when I'm deciding whether to open one no trump is that I have 3 of the other major. The most annoying thing that happens when you open a no trump with a 5-card major is your partner transfers you to your doubleton major, and you end up playing the wrong major suit fit. I'm really happy about this hand. I wouldn't consider opening this hand one heart. It's more than adequate for one no trump. I don't worry about my worthless doubleton and diamonds. It's just not worth worrying about. So partner statement, I'll show my hearts, and partner put me in game. Okay, so they lead a trump, the 10 of trumps, and the first thing I do when I've opened a 14.1 no is I check the dummy and think about how the bidding would have gone, because I know that a lot of people won't open my hand one no trump, so it's nice to know what they're going to be going through and to decide whether I want to play for over tricks or if making my contract's going to be enough for a good board. So dummy's hit with a 10-point hand, a nice 10-point hand. So if I had opened a heart, North would have to decide between making a limit raise or just a constructive raise, and so probably some people will do one or the other. In this particular case, I would guess the robots will be consistent. So if I'm going to be pretty happy to take my 10 tricks, so now I can look at the hand and decide what's going to happen here. So we certainly have no trump losers, and we have one club loser. It looks like because they haven't led a diamond, I'll be able to discard a little diamond from my doubleton on the long club in dummy. So I'm going to lose one club and no diamonds, and then I'll be able to take a spade finesse for 11 tricks. Now, the one last thing when I'm playing a suit contract is I have to decide whether I want to draw trumps first, which I usually want to do, or if there's something that's time sensitive that I have to take care of. It looks like I'm going to have to trump my spade in dummy, so do I draw trumps first, or do I go about that? Since my opponents only hold 4 hearts, I can afford to draw trumps, which will probably be no more than 3 rounds, and then I can go about my other business because there will still be a trump in dummy for me to use at the end of the hand to rough my spades. So our plan is to win the heart, draw trumps, knock out the ace of clubs, win the return, hopefully probably a diamond return, and throw away my diamond on the long club, and then play a spade up towards my king to see if I make 4 or 5. So let's watch it play out. So phase 1 is going to be draw trumps. Okay, trumps are gone. Now we're going to try and knock out the ace of clubs. That's good. Alright. Next step, we'll use the clubs to throw away our diamond. And finally, we'll play our spade towards our king. Alright, it held. So now we would normally claim, but we'll let them have a spade, and then we can just cross-ruff the hand for our 11 tricks. That also will be a good board because number 1, they didn't lead a diamond, and number 2, we were in game, so I'm pretty happy with making 5 on this hand. Board 8, we have a monster here. We have 17 points, 5, 4, 4. We have a nice fit for partners clubs, and they've overcalled a weak 2 diamonds. When I'm 5-4 in the majors, I bid my 5-card suit. I don't make a negative double because it'll be impossible for me to show my 5-card major later. So we'll start with 2 spades. My hand is pretty much a slam force. I only have 17 points, but I have this void in diamonds and I have all these controls. It's hard to visualize me not getting this hand to slam, but we're going to have to try and find the best strain. And okay, so partners bid 3 spades. So now we're not in a game force, but we know that we're, because my 2 spade only showed 10 or more points and partner just made a simple raise. But we do know that spades are going to be trumps. So if I do Q-bid, then partner will know that I'm making a slam try, even though we haven't yet reached a game force, because any Q-bid would be committing us to play in 4 spades. Now, a lot of people play 5, jumping to the 5 level is actually asking for key cards, but asking partner to exclude the ace of the suit you're jumping to. So if I bid 5 diamonds, that would show a void in diamonds and ask partner how many key cards, but not here. Gib doesn't seem to play it, so we're left with some Q bids. I can't really just bid Blackwood, because if partner shows me 1, then I won't know if it's the ace of diamonds or if it's the ace of spades. So really I have to let partner go ahead and bid Blackwood, or at least make a Q bid that's going to help me to make my decision. So if I go for clubs, maybe I'll hear that partner doesn't Q bid diamonds, and that'll make my I can then actually bid Blackwood. Oh, but partner's gone Blackwood themselves. So now a lot of people may or may not know this, but when you bid 6 of a suit after Blackwood, you're actually showing an odd number of key cards in support of spades here, and it's actually showing my void. So that's a perfect way for me to bid my hand. If I had an even number of key cards, you bid 5 no trump. So we're going to bid 6 diamonds and see where we end up. Okay, so they've signed us off in 6 spades. I can't really go beyond 6 spades. We'll see what dummy comes down. Alright, so dummies come down with a pretty ridiculous hand. Their 3 spade bid had showed us an opening bid and spade support. So they really don't have a lot more than they ever said. Their King Jack of diamonds are quite useless. If I was looking for a diamond control, King Jack, knowing that West is on lead and East has bid diamonds, is a horrible holding. So in reality, with North, they should be choosing between either just signing off in 4 spades or Q-bidding 4 diamonds if they feel that diamond control must be mentioned. This was just not really not a possible outcome the way that they actually bid the hand. So now that we're in 6 spades, we look at our situation. Clubs, all we need for clubs to not lose a trick is to make sure that we figure out who might have 4 clubs. If it's West we think has 4 clubs, then we just play the ace-queen out of our hand. And if East has a singleton, we'll see and be able to finesse. Or if it's the other way, we'll cash the ace and go to the king. And if West has a singleton, we will get to we'll get to finesse East for the Jack. So we just have to look. We have no trump losers, but we do have this heart suit that needs tending to. If I'm going to play the Jack of diamonds because they likely haven't underled the ace. If the Jack forces the ace, then all I'm going to need to worry about is 1 little heart in my hand that I'm going to have to trump and dummy. But if the Jack loses to the Queen, I have 2 little hearts that I'm going to need to sort out. So let's see what happens at trick 1. Okay, it's never easy. So now we have to look at our situation. Again, we have to decide whether we want to draw trumps. So we know we're going to have to ruff our 2 little hearts and dummy. And since our opponents have 4 spades, it may take 3 rounds of trumps to draw their trumps. So I have to decide exactly how many trumps I'm safe to draw before I have to get working on hearts. If I play 2 rounds of trumps, the risk is that the heart finesse will lose to West and that they'll be able to play the last round of trumps, which will only leave me with 1 trump in dummy to trump my little heart. So the best thing for me to do is to actually just draw 1 round of trumps and then take the heart finesse. And if it wins, then I can go back to drawing trumps. But if it loses, I'll be happy that I didn't draw more. Alright, so worst case scenario, the finesse lost. So then they played back a heart. Okay, so now that I've already taken the heart finesse, I can afford to draw 1 more round of trumps because I only need to ruff 2 hearts and dummies, so I might as well clear as many trumps out as possible. Now the question is, which side should I cash my trump honor from? If I cash the jack of spades, then when I go to trump my hearts, anybody who has the 10 of spades and not 2 more hearts would be able to score their 10 of spades. So I'm going to cash a spade in my hand. That way I can use the 9 and jack of spades to trump my hearts. Now if everybody follows to this spade, then I can pretty much claim. I just have to figure out clubs. Okay, finally some good news. So now we can just ruff a heart. And while we're roughing out hearts, we're working out everybody's distribution to see who might have 4 clubs. They both had at least 3 hearts, and they both had 4. Both had 2 spades. So, all right. So now we know that West has 4 hearts and 2 spades, and probably 4 diamonds and 3 clubs. So it really doesn't matter. Nobody's got jack fourth of clubs. So we're just gonna come back, and if anybody's got 4 clubs, it's West. I'll play a club back to my queen and play the queen of trumps. Alright, well they pitched a club, so now I know my clubs are good, so it doesn't matter. So now I'm going to play club to the king. And make our slam, and that brings us to the end of the set. Looking forward to set number 3.